Hello, everybody, and welcome to Life Fight, the podcast where we talk the ups and downs, the highs, the lows, and all the things in between the big fight that is called life. My name is Chris Harrington. Sitting alongside me is my co-host and longtime friend, Daniel Denbraber. Daniel.
How you going, Butcher?
Good, brother. We've got a special guest today.
Yes, we do. This will be officially our second episode, but our first guest. Got the Murph with us, Brian Murphy.
We do.
How you going, brother?
Yeah, good boys, good.
We want to obviously chat with Murph today about what the podcast is about, Murph was also, like yourself, a high caliber fighter and transitioning into everyday life. Murph, just currently moved to Melbourne, mate. Fill us in with a little bit of a story about yourself. Where we kind of start early days with, let's say, even getting into like the Muay Thai and athlete kind of life you're living.
Yeah, well, look, firstly, thanks, guys, for getting me on. I appreciate it. And, we'll surely have some fun heading through it today. But, look, my career, I suppose it started, it was quite weird, and it probably aligns with me as a person as well. I used to, my mum used to work at the local PCYC in Redcliffe, and I had the job in the afternoon there, being the after-school care teacher, looking after the kids after school. So it was just, get a bit of pocket money and carrying on. And then they used to have a gym down there called Vikings Gym. So every day I used to come down and see the boys training in there. And then after a couple of weeks, one day I sort of built the courage up and I walked in to sort of see what was happening. And from that had a chat, and then they said to me, we trained this time and so on. So the first available time after that, I went and did a training session, and then I trained, I think, the Tuesday and the Thursday. So I had the 2 sessions, and then I got asked, they had a fight night up at the Sunshine Coast with Joey Hilton. And they said, hey, don't know what you want to do, but you can fight on Saturday night if you want to. So I thought, well, fucking why not? Mate, I've got 2 sessions under the belt. Let's see how we go. So, that was it. So I went up there and fought a guy up there who was a little bit bigger and a bit more experienced, and soon learned that's a little bit harder than what 2 training sessions were. So went up there and had the first one, and I remember, mate, my leg getting the absolute fuck kicked out of it till I had hematomas and everything forming on the leg. So we went the distance on that one, and then I couldn't walk. And then I think it was on the Thursday night again, I got asked as a fight down the Gold Coast, and he said, mate, I don't know what you want to do, but, I know you can't really walk, but if you want to, we can get you some money if you want to take this one and
have another crack.
So I actually used that and I did go down there, and that was when I was in the early days of actually, before I was married, with my ex-wife, and then I can get paid for to go by and do all this. So we went down there, and she was actually helped in the corner, and we actually had to win that one, which was good. Don't know how, but we got through it. So then the career started.
Back in the days before combat sports.
It was sort of just like that. And then it just, I guess, I was just, sort of got hooked on the sport then and loved it. And, whenever there was a fight night, I was on,
And you obviously had a long successful career, and obviously the podcast is more about after sport. And when did it all kind of finish up? What year are we looking at when you kind of decided, listen, fucking, I've had enough of this,
Probably should say before that, though, like Fox Sports, Murph actually became known as the referee.
Yeah.
The Murph.
Yeah.
The Murph. Best people in Queensland.
True, right?
Well, look, it was sort of funny how it sort of went from that. And look, my fight career was, it was sort of all over the shop where it was. I fought anyone at any time. That was how, it wasn't really about win, lose or anything in that time. It was just about, you're a professional athlete, you got to earn money. You know what I mean? So it's like, we have good jobs, we have hard jobs, we have bad, no matter what we do. And so it was my job. So I sort of took on and did that, which sort of gave me a name and a reputation. And then when it sort of all ended, I remember actually I was on the run. Now we used to do a short sprint run and a couple of big hills and all that in it as a warm up at NTG, and it was always a big thing too with Nugget. He was always the one on the home stretch that would take off in front. So he was like, take him, and then we'd all try to chase him to get him down. And there's one, and everyone's run home, and then I've just stopped, started walking, and get back to the gym. So what the fuck's wrong with you? And I went, I'm done. What do you mean fucking done? I said, I'm done.
And
then what? And then it was get into, something else, then into the official side of things. That's how that sort of kicked off. And looking, I guess, from being a fighter at that stage and then transferring sort of over, you have more of an understanding and a feeling of what and how things run and go. And I was pretty passionate and pretty sort of straight up as it was as an official. But, people used to say sometimes you let things go a little bit too far, and I'd go, well, then says who? Yeah, I would always judge or official.
I always used to like watching you as a ref because you'd actually you'd try and keep the action going. Like if the boys were ever a little bit of a standstill, like you'd get in there and say, come on, like let's go. So a lot like a Thai ref,
Yeah, look, I would always think too, and as you know, as a fighter as well, when you get that bit more encouragement about it, sort of, the hands on the shoulder, you know what I mean? Like I even look at it too, not being biased in any particular way, but the boys are there for entertaining for the crowd. So if they're not putting it on for the boys too, and it would be little things sometimes, just giving the guys some encouragement, especially if they were getting beaten or you could see they were starting to get disheartened, and then I just encourage them and say to the boys, mate, I'm here. You're not going to get hurt while I'm here, mate. Use this here. Let's get in and do it. I've got you, and that can sort of spark it up, which then creates the fight.
Yeah.
Sure. So I would always look at that sort of perspective as well. And looking as a referee there, you to control the fight, also to make sure people don't get hurt, make sure the rules are implied, but also to make sure that the fight's the fight. Yeah. And everyone wins at the end of the day. The boys feel good because we all know we've had those bad days where you sat there and you walk out of that ring, you think, fuck, I didn't do what I should have done. But when you perform and you put it on, even if you lose, then, you're feeling good,
It would have been a hard job for you too because you used to referee a lot of like Nuggets boys, a lot of the NTG boys as well. So like on the Evo and all that stuff. But you always did a pretty good job like of just being, neutral, non-biased.
That was the thing. It was actually harder. The boys got it worse if they had to have me officiate for it because of that sort of thing. Because at the end of the day, there is no colours when you jump that fucking rope and you're in there as an official. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I would be probably harder on our guys if they weren't performing about where it is and probably give them more.
Make it like an extra point to show that you weren't being
exactly
biased towards them.
Yeah. But look, it's me too, no matter, it's how I am as a person, whatever you're performing or whatever you're doing, the relationship things step out. When I'm here to do a job, my job is this, and it doesn't matter what I am outside of that. While I'm here, I'm the official, and so that's how I looked at it, Yeah.
And going back to the transition from fighting to the refereeing, was that because you wanted to stay in the sport? Was it something that you were like, fuck, that'll keep me involved, or?
Mate, yeah. Look, and can I tell you, it's something that, any sports person that's sort of been heavily involved in it, it's the perfect thing to get into because exactly what you said. A lot of the time we're up there, and then we're gone. Everyone forgets who we are, what we are. We have no drive, no passion, no nothing. And then you start to lose your exposure to who you are and what you are in that sport. Getting into becoming that official generated another version where I become more bigger and well known and more popular as Murph, the referee. Yet I had every feeling, every emotion, every drive, every passion, everything as a referee, because I'm hopping the ropes. I'm in the monks. Like I used to say, you'd see I have the biggest smile on my face when someone's getting the shit, because I'm like, these guys are paying hundreds of dollars for a seat. I'm getting paid hundreds of dollars to watch it.
Yeah, you got the best.
But I never got hurt. That was it. Yeah. I could walk out of there. I could do that shit all night long and never have to wake up the next day and go, I can't move. I can't do this. So it's the perfect transition to go through, because I still had every feeling, passion, emotion, everything with it. Just didn't get it.
And you caught it at the perfect timing too, because that's when like Muay Thai was big, man. Like it was on Fox Sports. You had, Chavallo and Hammer commentating. Like I think it will be that way soon. Like,
which is sad,
Which is sad, but like for you caught it just at the right time.
No, and that was the sort of, I guess, and every state's had it, we sort of, Melbourne had its time, when we had the STEM, you had all the big names down here. Everybody was, Melbourne had the biggest
more kickboxing.
Yeah, it was more kickboxing.
And all that. But
then it sort of went, I guess it sort of changed. The golden era went for there, and then Queensland. Look, we just had that golden era with the John Waynes, the bloody Nathan Carnage, bloody Preacher, bloody the Daddy Cool. Like, you could keep speaking for hours for the guys that we had on there. So I guess the evolution of it, being evolution too, and the promotion and how it went, it just had that growth. So like I said, it's a shame that it will never get back to where it was. But it was the golden era. It was fun.
You seem pretty passionate about those days back then, and like you say, it won't get back there. And where do you think Muay Thai is at the moment? Like I know you're a little bit up and down, let's say, with the sport. I don't know. And you like, would you ever get back into it? Because like characters like yourself are, I think we're so fucking robotic out there, and everyone fucking, you got to do this, and that's the right thing by this person, in the sport, and everything's so robotic.
That's what we're lacking in the sport, is those characters.
Because people get upset.
We don't have the Daddy Cool coming out with the pimps and doing the dance after. And, even remember the Butcher coming out with the chainsaws and shit, like the Murph. Yeah. But also, we don't have those commentators either. Like we had Chavallo with the catchphrases. Yeah. And saying the Murph. Like he put
well, mate, he created the Murph.
Exactly. What I mean? So
he created
I think it was just this like perfect time of just everything happening. You know what I mean? For the sport. It just all happened at the same time. And I think like everyone feeded off each other as well. Which I think at the moment, everyone, I don't know, it's real. For me, like I'm not really in the sport anymore. Like I go down to the gym and I help Daniel a little bit. But I don't really go to the shows that much anymore. For me, it just seems real cliquey and real. Yeah,
it's
overly like everyone's overly like kind of not because they're talking shit
backstabbing 100%. Well, look, this is exactly what you're saying is exactly how it is, and there's no characters anymore in the sport. There's no fun and excitement. Definitely no loyalty. It's sitting there, how are you, brother? Stabbing in the back or whatever they want to do, So the sport itself has, dropped off. And I think, and look, and even like back in those days too, loyalty was a little bit more around and there was more respect because the gyms, we all fought each other, but we were all mates with each other. Yeah. You know what I mean? So, and all the promotions did start to help themselves out. The promoters would talk to each other and, build their shows. And, and in Queensland, we started to look at that. We'll get feeder shows to feed up to this show. And then that's a good way to get started for, the little clubs and the little promoters, which we need, to grow into the bigger ones. And that was the sort of thing too. I got, sort of very big into the behind the scenes parts of how do we grow the sport. So I set up and did the training. So I rewrote all the rules I put it in a PowerPoint presentation and everything with it, and I rewrote and then put videos together. So I then come and start training all the officials. So then you would break down everything. So you've got to give them something. And then if you can get them involved and then you give this and you give that, then they join, and then this is where it runs. And then you start feeding them up and you work as a community together, you'll eventually get there. So we started to do a lot of that stuff. Which all sort of started to work well. And then I guess with all the officials and everything with it, you started to get them all trying to see things in the same way. And then it was like, okay, well, the way it needs to be from that, we then need to train the trainers at the gyms so that then we had the egos, like, who the fuck are you going to tell me about the rules? I've been around the sport. And you go, well, I don't give a fuck about how long you've been around the sport. I don't give a fuck how many shows you fight on. These are the rules. This is what it is. And if you don't want to come, well, you're fucking stupid, because if I'm going to teach you how we're going to judge your boys fighting, you can then train your boys to fight in that way to win. So you're going to have an advantage by coming along and doing this and sitting as part of the seminar.
Just on that, bro, like, you hit me with something there, and I reckon that's what holds the sport back a lot. I've done this, I've done that. Because it's a foreign sport, everyone's like, well, you know, you've had to have done some time in Thailand. You've like, can't we just all be fucking fans?
100%.
We don't have to go to Thailand and get a fucking Thai wife to be legit. Do you know what I mean? Like,
mate,
because there's just a lot of that shit. And I know for Daniel, like, Daniel's never fought, you know, but he's got a gym and he's got some, and like, we basically started the same time as each other.
Yep.
I mean, he like, I've done all the fighting and whatever, but he's always been there training with me. He's just been a fan, and he just he loves it.
100%.
That's why he's gone and got
And can I say, a fan will make the best official when it comes along, because for one, they don't have the ego that a lot of the time that a fighter will have. Because it used to be when we first set it out, they used to say, oh, you'd have to have a minimum of 5 fights before you become official. So hang on. Who's the passionate ones? And when you look at them, they're the fans that first start, that turn up there. They watch and they analyse and they look and they do it, but they don't have the ego of themselves that's created when you become a fighter or you become somebody in it. So they listen, and then they absorb. And then when you teach, and actually it's funny, I'll just diverse quickly. When I went, the first motorbike I ever got was a custom Harley, a big fat wheel, bloody turbocharged fucking thing. So I got it all built right. And I'd never ridden a bike before, so I had to go and do a bike license. So I walk into the button, there's all people all fucking wearing the fucking patched up with all the bloody full leathers and all this going along. And then they ask everyone about who, what, where, when and why. And I turn around and say, well, mate, I've never fucking ridden a bike before in my life. This is the first bike. This is it. And I go out and do the training. And I got past, and some of these other guys didn't. And I'm looking at going, well, fuck, these guys can ride. You're the best one. He said, because you listen to what we tell you, have no bad habits. So you tell you do, that's why we're giving it to you. Yeah. And it's the same thing when it comes to that. When you have the fan and someone that's in, they don't have to be a fighter. They've trained, they've learnt, they've done it all. Just because they haven't fought, that's only one part of it. Yeah. They have everything else around it. So
they think they know better.
Yeah, and when you don't have it, that ego is what fucks you, because you think
it's like in footy, man. Like the reason, you know, we're on the sport a little bit now, but whatever. But like, so many fans of footy haven't played footy, and there's nothing wrong with that.
No.
Why discredit them because they haven't played?
Yeah.
But whereas in Muay Thai, people get discredited if they haven't fought or they haven't done this or done that, you know?
Is that what deterred you maybe from it, from the sport? Like, look, what made you not walk away, but, you know?
Look, I walked away from it because I lost, my marriage, I lost, you know, my livelihood, I lost myself, I lost my brotherhood, I lost everything that I was in the sport for. I lost that passion and everything for it, and then what I thought was right just wasn't.
Did you blame the sport a little bit for a while? Because I know personally I did.
Yeah,
when I went through my shit.
No, I guess. Look, I use it as an excuse into some ways to say why.
Yeah.
but there's a lot of all the other things in the back that is, my own doing of things with it. But, after losing my marriage, my family, and it all happened very short time, and then going off on those rampages around it, and the people that you have around in those, which are others, and you fight family, and then you start to learn, are they not? Who are they not? And then you just find you need to step back. And for me now, I guess to go back to the question, would I come back into it? I probably would again now, because after losing everything, I've now stood back, but I've had to do that because the same thing as I was saying, my ego, my identity, or everything in that past life is now gone. So as I said earlier, I call myself now, I've hit rock bottom. I've lost absolutely anything of any value, any meaning, any of anything. I've gone to the depths of as low as I can go. And now I call it Re-Birth of The Murph. So now I can just start from scratch. It's like a little teenager kid again. And I can if I could come back into it and not have anything to do with who, what, where, when, and why, and start from scratch into a sport that's not what it was. Once again, it's at its probably lowest level of where it's been a long time, and create something and start again, then I would. I do get asked regularly to come back in. Would I do it? We need it. We need you. We need this. And it's like,
you got to be ready in yourself.
Yeah, and look, you've got to be able to have some form of control over what you're doing and where you're going, and then the other part of me sits there too and goes, do I want to go through all of that again? Because look, that's the name, your reputation, and your passion, and everything helps get you there. But there's a lot of hard things you got to do, because some people don't want to play ball. So then you got to say, right, it was quite simple. You play ball this way, or fucking play your ball somewhere else. So you've got to go through that war part again. And it's sort of something, do I have the drive and the issue? Do you want to go through with that again? Look, if I'm a big believer in the universe these days. I've sort of gone back down a bit of that spiritual side of things, and the universe will create and give you whatever's meant to happen, the good, bad, and the ugly. So if the universe is meant for me to be back there, something will pop up and I'll get that position and I'll get back there again.
It's funny, bro. Like, we've sort of had a bit of a chat before this, and you were saying, like, you've had to hit the rock bottom, very similar to myself.
Yeah.
I think it's like, people that fight or people that are good in any sport or whatever, I think, like, we're so fucking, like, stubborn. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's why we get good at what we do. And that it's a good thing, but can also be a bad thing, because we have to hit that fucking rock bottom before we actually realize we're fucked on, and we need to change something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, because, you're doing all this dumb shit and all this reckless shit, and you always just go, nah, it'll be fine. Nah, I'll fucking sort it out next week, But until you got nothing, you literally don't have a fucking toilet to piss in.
Yeah.
Is when you sort of start to realize, I've got to fucking turn something around.
Well, and so if I compare it, like I've come more from an AFL background. I've kind of played that and kind of been at that higher level in that system. I have trained at AFL clubs and stuff like that. So I've been in that kind of professional environment. And one thing that, like, obviously a massive, corporation, let's say, to AFL. And so a lot of the players are getting support on life after football, right? So they're saying you should be doing whatever, a fucking carpentry course, or you should be, do a chef if you're passionate about cooking, right? And especially when you boys were, kind of back in it, is, there isn't enough education, and I feel like that is more. And like I'm coaching fighters now, right? And I'm big and passionate about, like, this all should be enjoyment, because when you're finished, you're fucking welcome back in my gym, because I don't want to fucking kick him to the curb, because I'm good mates with Chris. And I saw what he had to kind of, just deal with into identity and stuff like that. And that wasn't like a gym thing or whatever, just not enough education, you know? And if we can get that behind some of the fighters and tell them, maybe they're, you know, it can pop up like AFL or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, look, it is true because look, it doesn't matter, I guess, on what sport you're playing or what you do or how much publicity it has. Like the top AFL blokes playing now, when you're going through it at a personal level within it, it's the same feeling that they have to what we have.
Definitely.
Anyone at fucking a fucking lawn bowler that fucking has been a world champ at that level, and then all of a sudden they get it. It doesn't matter because you still put that heart, passion, and everything into it. So when it's the same thing. It's the ego part that gets taken away from you, and it's learning how to do it. And as I said, ego is the biggest thing to make you. And if you don't have it, you will not be that champion. You will not be that person. You need to have that different to everyone else. And you have a look at them all now. You look at Conor McGregor, all those guys, but he's different now because he's still got his ego, which has taken him off in money, what's putting there. But as a fighter, the moment he lost, even Tyson, when all of them, they had that fucking invincible fucking thing, that ego that's got them there. The moment they have that loss or they take that thing gets taken away, that ego then is gone. They lose that edge of who they are. And then when that ego does drop, unfortunately for us, because we're used to it being so high, there's these, I'll show you, he's got these little mantras tattooed on my hands and I'll get through it. But this one here is balance. We don't have it because to be the elite about where you are, you don't have balance because it's all fucking one way. Yeah. So when that starts to go, the only way that you can go is to the opposite fucking end. And that's taking it to hell on earth. And because you're so fucking up here, like fucking it's the same thing. You got to punish yourself the further you go down here, you know, and that's the thing to it. Until you've broken yourself down here and you can release that, then you can't. And unfortunately, some people get to that level and still don't know how to because they haven't got the support. And they take the other way out, you know, which is no good, or then they lose everything. They don't know how to rebuild and they all go on it. And we all do, but you've got to go through that bad and feel that bad to know that I want to get back up again, you know. So, and then it comes into the partying scene. So when you're out of that scene, so what do you want to do? You want to get in the party scene and you want to get out there and do it because that takes your mind away for that little instance of fucking where I am. And when you party, bro, everyone wants to hang around you again. So all of a sudden we're partying.
And we sort of talked about that last week. Like, you know, you're in this little bubble of the gym or, you know, your club or whatever.
Yeah.
And, you know, you're the man. Everyone wants to know you. Everyone wants to talk to you. So when that's gone, what do? You go party. Now you're, you know, the Murph in the fucking club or the butcher in the club or whatever. And it's the same. You're getting that same fucking, you're feeding that same fucking ego, but you've just taken it from the gym to the club.
Yeah.
But instead of doing healthy things like training and whatnot, now you're doing fucking unhealthy things like getting on the drugs and fucking, you know, all that other shit. So it's just about trying to, and, you know, that's why we're going to also get people like, don't need to say names, but what we talked about off air, like we're going to get people that have used that stuff they've learned in the gym and they've taken it to the business side of things and they've gone successful because it's not all like, it's not all like everyone's gone our way.
No.
You know?
Look, and that's where life sort of takes it on and it's a journey. But if you look at the principles of what it is to be an athlete in any sport and the mind setting and everything about where it comes and you understand it, it is. And I guess, look, one of the biggest things that I started up when I started to go bad with, and I've had the Murph Motherfucker Club. So it was a thing that I set up on Facebook and it was about, okay, become the best motherfucker you can be. So it was 45 minutes a day to stop, give back to you. Give back to yourself so you can become the best motherfucker you could be. Now, I started with that and I'd say, okay, it comes to training. So with our minds, you know, when I look at it, if you look at it in a fighting concept, I'll be sitting here talking to you, then all of a sudden now we've got the weigh and we pick the fight. We're sitting there looking at it and I'm thinking, oh, I want to kill you. And you have all these evil things going through about what we're going to do, how we're going to do it. We get there to the fight night, fucking soon as that bell goes, we're fucking into it. As soon as that bell goes at the end of it, I've gone from wanting to destroy you to hugging you. You're my brother. You're this, that. So the whole emotion about how we go within our minds and how we control and how we do it, and then how all of a sudden in the fight we could be copping the biggest beating of our life. We don't feel nothing. Then all of a sudden the bell rings at the end and we go to walk out and we can't. So it's amazing on how we get to do it. And if you put that philosophy back into life and we can use that to take yourself to that next level, you will, or you'll use it to go to the bottom before you rebuild. So the motherfucker club come to me and always looked at it as being training, and all I would do would get on there and show my training things, but I'd do things like, okay, I'd get my phone and flick the alarm to whatever was going to turn up, and then that was it. So if it went off at 3 o'clock in the fucking morning, okay, I'm going to get up and have a fucking ice bath in the middle of winter, and then I'm going to go for a 20K run or whatever I'd set. I would just do that so that nothing was same and consistent, and challenge myself with absolutely everything that I did, and then just record it and put it on. Now, it went fucking crazy in the beginning because I'd get on there and tell the stories. I'd tell the stories where I've been sitting there and the coppers have come in because I had a fucking fight and argument. They're trying to tell me I need to be in a mental hospital, and I'm sitting there with fucking knives. Next thing you know, they come in, I chase them out. I got the CERT team lasers on me, and I'm fucking, come on, you fuckers, I'll cut your heads off, People would go, you're a fucking psychopath. No, I'm not a fucking psychopath. These people are coming to try and take from me, but yet this is the other side of me. This is who you are. It's the warrior within it. It doesn't matter who you are. If you're going to come and take from me, well, then fucking take me. You know what I mean? So there was a lot of shit that I went through within my life, and then being able to communicate that to people and say, you know what, it's all right to fuck up, but then you've got to be accountable for your fuck up. So after a few of my sort of things that happened each year, and then losing the marriage, I obviously go to Thailand because that's a happy place to be, and go and fucking stay with the monks and, just go through, I guess, that self-learning of what have I done? How do I change it? And I got these little mantras sort of tattooed on my fingers so I could remember. So that sort of stands for ownership. So you've got to take ownership for your life. Right? No one else can do that for you. So you've got to stand up, ownership for your life. Whatever you choose to do or where it goes is because of you. Then it's got accountability. And this was one of the hardest ones. I can always be accountable for my actions, but I've only just learnt now to be accountable for my reactions. So no matter what you do to me, I still have to be accountable and take ownership. So you could do whatever and hurt me, but my response, I still have to take ownership for and be accountable too, because I can't use the excuse, you did this is why I'm going to do it. And then there's balance.
The decision in the end of how you deal with
well, I only did that because you did this. No, I did that because this is what I chose to do.
Correct.
Right? So then balance is it, bringing balance into life, into no matter what. So if you want to go and party like a rock star, because they'll tell you fucking whatever I do is extreme or it's down here. So I like the party with the girls, party with the drugs, party with whatever. If I'm doing it, it's big. But on the downside to that big, there's a big hole. Yep. So then I have to look at it and go, rightio, be accountable, take ownership. So when you're sitting there thinking, fuck, where's the noose? No, well, can't you put yourself here? So this is your own fucking, this is your decision. So, right, to get yourself through it. Then it was love. So this was a real hard one to do too, especially after you've been down, and it's learn to love yourself before others. So it's putting yourself as a priority before you put other people.
100%.
And the hardest thing that it comes to being that is, and I don't know if it's just generally on how it is you lose that worth of yourself, and you lose that love for yourself when you lose that part of that ego part of where it's all falling down, and then you're trying to love other people hoping that they love you back.
Yeah.
And after losing the ones that I love the most, I'm only just starting to get to the stage now where I go, okay, I'm at peace with everything that's fucking happened now. I'm at peace with where it is. I can still have that other side of your mind that flicks off. But if I start to look at it and love myself in that way as a priority before I love others, if I love myself, the universe will bring other people that love me. Not make me go out to try and love people to get them to love me.
Well, it's important, bro, because like you got to be, and I learned this the hard way too. Like, but you try and validate yourself by getting love from everyone else. But if you're not in a good place in yourself, like for me, like I've got to try and love myself so my kids look at me as a happy person.
Yeah.
I can love my kids all I want, but if I'm hating myself, they feel that, they can see that.
Yeah.
And you're only good to anyone if you're okay with
yourself. 100%.
The old saying, you got to look after number one.
Yeah.
It's 100% true, man, because at the end of the day, no one can look after you. You have to look after yourself.
Got to take ownership.
And
look,
sorry. And so you guys are banging on about love yourself. And I couldn't agree more, right? Because
banging on about it.
Well, not banging on about it is what I'm saying is
they're just fucking banging on about it.
No, but I'm just saying is so if you're going back to like fighting or your trainer or a promoter, you think they're loving you, they're loving the Murph, they're loving him as a referee, right?
They're loving what's going on in the back pocket.
Yeah,
that's all they're loving.
Exactly right, and you learn this, and then you go Murph into the party scene, and it's like, oh well, I like Murph, I love Murph because he's fucking buying me a beer, fucking blah blah blah, whatever, and you say not the lowest of lows, but I think, and maybe it's fucking as you get older, fucking I'm in my mid-40s, you realise that fucking no cunt's on your side, right?
Yeah.
I've known Chris for a long time, and we fucking had our highs and lows and all that kind of stuff. But reality is, you count on one hand how many fucking good mates there are. And you were saying like before about, I kind of lost, my family, my brotherhood, and then, maybe you lose the party scene and all that kind of stuff. And there's nobody left, right?
Yeah.
So how did you get it? Like if you got to that lowest of low and you'd share with us with how low it got. That's up to you, right? But how did you get yourself out of it?
Well, look, I guess as low as it got, and I'm as fucking straight up to say that because this is what it is. I've got to the stage where, I fucking deliberately fucking drunk 30 mils of Frank and fucking got woken up by an escort friend that said fucking shit was frothing out of my mouth and everything. I just had enough of where it was, and I thought no better way to go than fucking feeling happy about it, go to sleep, never wake up again. Then woke up in fucking intensive care. And let me tell you, it wasn't that. I was fucking more angry with that when I come to thinking, where the fuck am I? And they're saying you're alive. And then I was like, why didn't you fucking let me go? Because then all that emotion and everything comes back. So look, I've been a couple of times on where it was, been at that stage of where I thought, fuck it, let's just fucking end it and it's not ending it in a sad way. It was ending it more in an anger because you know what? There's nothing you can do. The person I am, the anger I had within myself.
Was it because, do you reckon you thought people that were your friends have let you down, or is it like...
Look, yeah, everything. And I can only accept it now into saying too, like my life was my life and however we broke, I had 25 years of the perfect life with the perfect wife with everything. And I couldn't even understand into how that changed so much into that with her, and then how she would hate me with the passion that she used to love me with. And I also had those protection orders put upon me as well. So that was it. So everything I was doing was fighting, I couldn't speak to her or the kids for 5 years. I still haven't spoken to my kids. I've missed my kids' 18th, their 21st, fucking everything,
That constant fighting gets fucking tiring.
It does. And you know what? And I was always so angry.
Creep in,
And why won't no one help me? Because you know what? Fucking I used to get every fucking day. I'd have someone, and people wouldn't even know. Oh, this person's done this, Murph. Can you sort this out for me? This person's done that. Can you go and do this? Can you get this? Can you do that? Can you stand over this person? Can you do this? That much of that shit used to, and I used to go and do all this shit
for everybody else.
For everybody. Yeah. And I thought, well, this is what I do. And then the moment that my marriage went that way, and I was getting fucked by her in every possible way. I look at it now and I thank her for doing it. I thank her for everything that's been as hard for me. And I think all the things that I've learned and the people that have done wrong by me, I thank every single one of them, because now it's taught me what's important, who I am and what I am and who I need to be and for who I need to be, right? So losing it all, and I can tell you one thing, even when I was placed after that time, they put me in the mental hospital, and that was a big wake-up call when you're actually sitting there and you're thinking, I ain't fucking mental. These cunts are mental, right? And then here I am even sitting down in the fucking ward and some bloke's fucking trying to get into the ladies and the nurses in the fucking ward. They got the thing locked down because he wanted his fucking meds, and I'm fucking saying, cunt, you'll sit down, I'll fucking knock you. Next thing they go, oh, don't do that. I'm like, fucking come on. And they go, I thought, I don't belong in this place. But, you know, I'd messaged my ex-wife at that stage too, and I'd said, you know, and mate, I'll admit I was fucking in tears. I was as low as I was fucking scared. And I said, listen, you know, this is where I am. I need you to tell the kids everything's okay. I need to, so it's everything's so. I don't want the kids then to realise, fuck, Dad's trying to do this, or this is where it comes. And, you know, next thing you know, she rings the coppers and tell them I've contacted 8 coppers, walk in there to fucking take me out where I'm in voluntary suicide, watch them come and lock me up. So you can imagine what my response is when the police come to do it. So this sort of shit happened quite a lot. And this is where the police and I didn't have a very good relationship.
If you will.
As it would be, you know. And we look at even, I had the head of the Valley coppers ring me one day and he says to me, Murph, this shit's got to stop. I said, fucking oath it does. And he goes, you can't keep doing this. I said, can't keep doing what? I said, I ain't fucking kick your door in while you're fucking sitting on the fucking lounge going through it all and fucking 8 or 10 of you run in fucking trying to get, what do you expect me to do? Lower the lounge and fucking, oh, how are you boys? Want a cup of tea? I said, how about knock on my fucking door and say, Murphy, you were right. And we'll do it. So it's been through that, and you look, and I know the hard part when you get down into that, and it's the fighter in you, because you're never going to fold, because it's like that thing. You never give up. It doesn't matter how much of a beat you. One more round.
Sometimes you fucking love the beating, mate.
Yeah, well, yeah. Bro, you will beat yourself because you are hurting. But they did. It is a funny story, this one quickly. So they did get me one night. The fuckers, it was good, but I'd been in court because of going through the settlement stuff. Anyway, I was copping a beating with them and with that, and I'd lost the plot. So I'd get up the fucking, because it was all done because COVID, you know, sort of by the computer and so on. So I blew up. Fuck you all. Fuck the judge. Fuck this. That fucking shut down. And then I made a comment. No wonder men fucking commit suicide, fucking blow their heads off because of fucking women like you, and this is the way it comes. Right? So then I left. Next thing you know, I was sitting there and I was fucking trashed the unit, being a fucking idiot again, just fucking releasing anger. And down where I used to live, there was an IGA and they had these fucking lemon meringue pies. I fucking like the bomb. So I'm sitting there and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to buy a family one. I'm going to eat the whole fucking thing on my own. This is what I'm going to do. So anyway, I catch the lift down. I walk into the fucking IGA and I'm like, fuck yeah, I'm going to eat this lemon meringue pie. That was going to be my comfort, you know. And I get a phone call and it gets this is chief negotiator. Fuck off, you dog. Hang it up. Next year I walk around and got the lemon meringue. I thought I'd better grab some dog food. And I walk up to the register and my phone rings again. And I put the phone down thing on the register. I said, listen, mate. But next thing you know, I remember waking up and fucking my hands and feet are fucking like I'm hog-tied fucking with handcuffs and everything. The IGA is a fucking mess. There was that many. They said they'd have every available copper from the Valley in Brisbane looking for me. All I had was just a row of fucking flashing lights, ambulances, fucking everything. My face is a fucking mess. And because they then rung and said, and because obviously my name comes up and it doesn't come up well, so they thought I was running around with a fucking gun going to fucking shoot myself or whatever. So the coppers all fucking come in and a fucking way we went. So it's had its fun parts. Yeah.
Did you get to eat that lemon meringue pie?
No, I fucking didn't. I was spewing. I even went back there because fucking after the next day when I get out, I come back and I'm like, mate, they wouldn't let me back in the IGA again. But, look, there's all...
You're going to have to learn how to bake.
Yeah, that's it. So, no, I got touched up and I didn't get my lemon meringue pie, so I was quite fucking upset with that.
That's the worst part of the story.
Yeah, that's right.
What did you and then there's some obviously, and thanks for sharing some of those low points as well, but then to come out of it and seeing you today smiling and happy and stuff, fuck, that makes me happy, right? Yeah. So and
being able to have a laugh about
it. 100%, yeah.
Which is important.
What were the things that you did to?
So after that, I basically looked at myself again, and it's that stages that you go through. Something bad, as you said earlier, brother. Unfortunately, we don't learn until something that. So I had to look at it and go,
until you're forced.
How the fuck? What am I doing? Where am I going here? And basically, even the conversations that I had with them, they're going to say, "You're going to end up dead or in jail. You got two fucking choices." And I've got to give it to them in that way. They had taken the time that the big blokes of these things ringing me and saying, "You're not a bad cunt, but you're being a bad cunt, and this is where you're going to end up." So I guess after that, and it was within a week. I'll tell you, it was within 7 days. I went, "Fuck it. I'm going to Melbourne." So I just randomly did it. So I got on the fucking phone, found a place, fucking moved in. Also, the company that I had helped out up in Queensland was based down here, who I work with now with Colab Facade. And the boss there, a bit of a shout out, but the boss, I helped them save his business up there, and he was loyal to me while I was up there too. And he said, "Brother, I rung him up and said, mate, I've got to get out of here." Originally, I was going to go to Sydney because we had a job in Sydney. He goes, "Fuck going to Sydney, come to Melbourne." So I said, "Fuck it, I'm done." So within a week, I got a place. I packed up all my gear, which, mind you, I moved here with a suitcase and my dogs, and fucking drove down and moved here. And being away from anything and everything that was a part of that past life, anything that I've owned or had of any value, of everything, I have nothing now. That is from not even clothes, everything. I burnt everything, just give everything away, lost everything.
Nothing associated with.
Nothing. I had not one thing from my past life. So I moved down here. I started. I now and I've had to go through that loneliness part, but I've already been used to the loneliness. But I'm lonely into a way now of where I choose to have myself lonely, and I'm in control of what I do. The only trouble I get myself in now is what I choose to get myself in now. Yeah. So having that break and away from everything within my life and from everything, because we were well known, everyone was involved. And because the fight community, with certain things that happened with certain people, it also blew up, you know what I mean? So everybody knew where it was. So to separate myself from all that, and then get down here and then start to learn, who am I? Yeah. What's my priority?
When you're a personality, whether it be in the streets or in a sports scene or whatever, everyone knows your shit.
Yeah.
It's hard to deal with your problems because
you can't, bro.
Because it's a public fucking thing.
It's impossible.
You know what I mean?
It's impossible, and that's where all these elite athletes that you're saying that are in the media, they can't do shit, these guys. And I feel sorry for these blokes about where it comes in. We all see the fame but it's 10 times worse for what it is there because of that. So it was, and you know what? It's a hard thing because people don't want to know about your problems either, you know what I mean? And you find that hard. And look, and you're either an empath or a psychopath or whatever you want to fucking be and how it. I met both. I'm a psychopath and an empath, depending on what fucking side I'm triggering. Yeah. So it's, it's the thing that you need to look at is what gives me peace, and that happens to everyone. And like I said, with the motherfucker club getting on there, I'd had people writing, like I hadn't been on there for a while now. I let other people use it because it become a forum for everyone, because I found I was putting too much time and effort into that and taking on other people's responsibilities. But I had probably half a dozen to at least a dozen people bring me that I didn't even know from all around the world that said, "Mate, I was at my stage of wanting to commit suicide, but now seeing your story and listening to what you're saying and how you're going and having podcasts and things like this here, get it out, that will give that trigger to say, hey, it doesn't matter who you are, what you are. We all go through it, but you've got to focus on you and what gives you peace. And it doesn't matter about anyone else. You have to forget everyone else because no one's going to give you what you need. You are the only person that'll give you what you need and know what you need, and it's fucking hard. And unfortunately, brother, for people like us, we got to go to the bottom.
Yeah,
you know.
Well, and it's exactly why we're doing this podcast, and something that Chris really wanted to put together, and obviously I've jumped on to support him with it. And for athletes, whether they're look, you know. We're all in kind of that.
Even regardless of athletes.
It is.
I think it's
people.
It's people and men.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Like definitely a lot with men. Like men, they'll try and we are shit communicators, right? We're good like in the way where it's like, you know, the old saying where
I'll talk about all the women I'm banging and how we do that, mate. I won't talk about how I'm hurt.
Yeah. Well, it's like the old thing we say is like, you know, men are good at settling their differences because they'll just punch on and they'll fucking move on with it.
Yeah.
But when what's going through your head doesn't warrant a punch on it, it's actually something emotional. Like we are fucking shit, man.
Yeah.
Like, we can't even come up to anyone with a problem and say, hey man, I just need to talk to you. I need your help. We'll tiptoe around it and try and get the other person to be like, hey man, are you all right?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So it's like, you know, doing this is just, you know, I think just talking about it is good.
100%. It's what's needed, you know. But it's also too, brother. The hardest thing is you got to find out the right person to be able to open it up to, because what you will do is open up to someone that there's a lot of people that don't want to know about it because they don't understand it and they can't. And look, and I'll be open with you now. I'll tell you now, even for me to get into another relationship with anyone, I've met some fucking girls that got all shit going. But unless you've been broken, unless they've been to the fucking depths of earth of where it's fucking been, or they've lived a bad part of their life to become good, sorry, love, you're not for me, because you will not understand once you go to that depth.
Well, that's the thing.
They don't get it.
A lot of people, it's hard to relate. You got to find people that you relate to.
Exactly.
You know, like,
and even with guys, how do you put trust in some bloke where everything's going good? Because why life is good, and that's how my life was. I didn't know what fucking bad was because everything was good. So bad for me was not fucking waking up fucking one day to have a fucking cooked breakfast. Oh, that's fucking bad, mate. Fucking didn't get cooked breakfast this morning. You know what I mean? But how do you judge on that?
I'll tell you one thing, like so when I was with my ex-wife, it was my 30th birthday coming up.
Yeah.
And I was going through some real bad time then with, you know, drugs, suicide, all this shit. Yeah. And I really didn't want to have that 30th.
Yeah.
And, but then I sort of said to myself, I've got to do it, because if I don't do it, everyone's going to ask, why did you cancel it?
Yeah.
You know, and I just didn't want that fucking shit.
Yeah.
So anyway, we're there. I'm just like very quiet, just acting like everything's all good. Speech. Everyone's like, speech. I'm fucking trying to hide and do some fucking drugs in the toilet. Everyone's going, speech. Couldn't help myself, man. Just, but I seen my ex-wife crying, and I just fucking spilt me guts to everyone.
Yeah.
There was like 100 people at this party, man.
Yeah.
Told them all how I tried to fucking top myself.
Yeah.
Just told them all everything.
Yeah.
About how, you know, a drug problem, I fucking come into the gym fucking high or drunk sometimes.
Yeah.
You know? How many of those people do I talk to now? Fuck all, man.
Yeah.
I can probably fucking count on one hand how many of those people are still around, bro.
Yeah.
Scared. All these people that never gone through problems.
Yeah.
All scared them all off, man.
Yeah.
All gone.
Oh, because they characterise or they put in you. They're not interested in going back or understanding about where it is, bro, because they don't. But you know what? They're the people you don't want in your fucking life.
Mate, best thing I ever did. I was kicking myself for ages. Why the fuck did I do that? Now everyone knows the shit I'm going through.
Yeah, but bro.
When I look back on it, best thing I ever did, because I would have found out eventually who was good in my life and who was not.
Yeah.
All that did was just speed it up.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So the people that are still around me, like he's one of them.
Yeah.
You know, they're the people that I can trust. I can put my time into.
And what you find too, bro, is when you do go with that, your circle becomes smaller and tighter about where it is, and then you don't waste your time with all those other people that aren't there that need to be, well, that don't need to be, because you'll find when you're there and you're real, you're trying to share you with 100 bits of the pie with that many people around, and you can't fucking do it.
Yeah.
So when you realise that and and then you come back at peace with yourself, and then you have that 3 or 4. And look, and that's what I said earlier. The funniest thing is my best friends now, and I'll be straight up with it, half of them are all escorts that are like my best mates. You know what I mean? And the female ones, because you know what? There's a connection, there's a trust, there's a loyalty that I have with them and they have with me, and it's fucking real. You know what I mean? Because they've been through I don't have male friends anymore. I don't go out with male guys because I don't have that trust there. But when you have something, loyalty from a girl, especially when you can be friends or mates, that loyalty, and that is 100%.
Yeah, well, when you have a friendship or whatnot with a woman that's non-sexual,
that's it, bro.
It's very, very strong because it's very unusual.
It is.
Like how many guys out there are just being mates with this chick because they want to try and fuck them?
Yeah,
most.
My breastie, Stacey Peak, like I fucking.
Did you say breastie?
Yeah, I call them my breasties. So if you're thinking, I have breasties. I don't have besties. I have breasties. I have breasties, and she, like, I'm the godfather of her children. Everything, like, we talk every fucking day and have for fuck how many years now. She probably won't like me to say more than 20 because it'll show her age. But you know what? Like, I love her more with it, and she's been as hard as it has been on me, but it's all for real. And I have a few of them now that are my breasties. She's my number one, but the relationship that we have is pure, and you know what? There's anything that comes with it. It is a pure love, and when you actually get that and you start to understand, fuck brotherhood, because brotherhood at the end of the day will want to fuck your missus, will want to fucking get behind you, will want to do anything. Brotherhood will do that. But when you have breastyhood, those fuckers will look after you like there's no tomorrow. Yeah.
What if I was to ask both you guys, like if someone's going through these times, what would be 3 points you'd kind of give them as advice? You guys have both kind of gone through these really low points, and you've come out of it, which is really good, and I'm assuming it's a constant battle,
Yeah.
But how, like, if someone's struggling with it,
I'd say the first thing, man, like, don't get disheartened if you don't come out of it, because I'll tell you one thing right now, I still go through shit.
Yep.
Like, I still fuck up. I still have times where, not like before, where I'm fucking up every day, but I still have times, man, where the fucking...
That's what we're made of, brother. Yeah. We got to have that's the fucking...
Yeah. But, too much... The demons will fucking come in, man.
Yeah.
Like they creep in your head, and I think it's about... It's about understanding them. And also just keeping your mind busy, bro. Like...
Yeah.
But back when I was training, like, all I was focused on is training. Yeah. I was fucking getting bashed in the gym and bashing other people in the gym. When I got home, my mind was like done. I didn't want to think about nothing. No. Now I've got the same amount of energy and the same amount of whatever. Like, I've got to put that energy into a certain area, because if I don't, that energy, like, it just wants to go to that.
But you say just being busy. There needs to be. I don't know. I'm sorry, not there needs to be, but I'm assuming there needs to be something else. Like, you can't just, because we can't be busy all the time, right?
Listen, you to do it, you got to look yourself in the mirror, and you got to take ownership, and you got to be accountable. You got to learn to love yourself.
I like these points.
So out of them, if you want to look at those things, I'd look at it. Take ownership. Don't worry about anyone else. Find peace within yourself. And it is very hard, especially when you're a bit of a socialite and you're used to all that sort of thing, being on your own. Like, bro, I was 47 years of age. I had to go and do my first fucking grocery shop on my own to plan out what to do and cook my fucking meals and be on my own. 47. I'm like, how the fuck's this shit work?
Yeah, right.
Pay my own bills, do all that sort of shit. Because I'd been married for so fucking long and had a fucking beautiful wife that fucking did all this shit for me. She spoiled me. Had all that. And then so being at peace with myself, and I think that's the thing. You've got to look yourself in the mirror and go, you know what? I don't need anyone else but myself. And if I learn to love myself as a priority, then that's it. Now, it's the hardest thing to get to. I have a lot of people and mates and females and couples that I know that are going through life and these sort of things. And they ask me, but how do you get there? And I said, that's the journey of the universe. The universe will get there. But if you can sit by these principles, take ownership for your life, whatever you do, no one else will. You must do that. So you must accept. And I say to people, don't be scared or fearful of pain. Grab that pain, absorb it, let it eat you, fucking let it do it, cry yourself. I used to cry myself to sleep every fucking night. But you know what? I cry myself to sleep, but the next morning I wake up and I'm like, okay, I've let that go. So they're the sort of things that you've got to do, but that journey of how you get to A to B, you can't look at the Refinex and everyone goes, it's open the Refinex and everyone goes through a different fucking journey. You know what I mean? So I just say to anyone that's in that thing, just stop, look at yourself, take ownership, find your own worth, and that comes in your love. Look at who you are and what you are as a person, what makes you who you are and what you are, and then just hop on that bike, keep riding.
Yeah.
You know, that's...
Yeah. I think that's the thing, isn't it? You gotta keep the motion, don't you? You gotta keep pushing on and grinding away.
Yeah, bro.
But it's good to fuck up sometimes now. I look at it, I take ownership. But when I go and fuck up, I know what the concept's. It's fun why it is, but we need to have that then to bring me back into alignment to go, rightio. Because when things good all the time, it's nothing fucking exciting while it's all good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it doesn't stimulate me.
We're all different, man.
Yeah.
We're all different. I think I've got like one of my best mates is just like, you know, he works for NAB, his missus works for like a law firm. They're just like the proper like.
And guess what, brother? Ask them, and then they all want to fucking know what's going on and where does it do. They all want the bad boy about the bad image, about where it comes, because when life's good, bro, we all want to know a little bit about that.
Yeah.
Because it ain't always good.
Look, don't get me wrong, they don't have the fucking stories. Like
life is there. Like I said, bro, we all start with the white picket fence because that's what we're told in society where we're meant to be. And this is the other thing I look at too. Fuck them, who is society? This is the thing. I've looked at
100%.
Never, ever. Now I look at anything and look at, I'll tell you, I dated an escort for fucking 18 months while she worked. People used to say, how the fuck can you do that? I go, well, tell me why I can't. Why is that part, that what they do and that,
it's
why is that such a fucking,
it's taboo.
Why is it that's such a critical thing in life? And it got me to actually stop to look at a whole lot of things. And I went, why is this big focus on this? And then I started to look at, you know, with the affairs with my wife, she had and did this and the people she said, why is that the biggest thing to me? And you know what? I get it all the time now. Fucking on Tinder, you get all these women fucking getting the first, I'm not into one night stands. I'm not in this. And I go, what's a one night stand? I had actually one that clicked on me and she turned around, her opening comment was, you look like a player and I'm not into one night stands. And I went, what's a player? I said, well, why the fuck were you swiping on me if this is not you into? Now tell me what's one night stand. So if I date you for 3 months, take you out, fuck you on that first night, then leave you the next day, is that a one night stand? Or is it because I dated you for 3 months, is it? Or you fuck me on the first time where it is? I said, listen here, and if you want to look at where a player is, you're the women coming to me. You're laying the rules down. You're putting restrictions on things that are going to be. So you're already putting rules around. You don't even know what's going to happen with it. But all I know is the universe says big fucking cross because you ain't dealt with your shit yet.
Yeah.
Deal with your shit, and then you're right.
I think it's a real valid point and you just go, you know, the book says fucking get married, fucking, you know, what, who the fuck invented this book, you know? And I think that's what creates the pressure on the individual, you know, it's like, oh, everyone's expecting me to fucking be married by 30. Oh, I should have a kid and I should have a house.
Social expectation.
Yeah, it's fuck all that. Do what you want.
Let
right?
the universe
And then
guide where you got to be. Find out who you are, not what anyone else expects you to be. And the problem is, bro, it all comes back being a fighter or any athlete. Your ego creates, you have an ego and live to an expectation of what everyone else expects you to be and wants you to be. And that's where you fail. Because when you can't meet that expectation for that time is when everything falls.
Yeah.
But that's when peace comes.
Yeah.
I had nothing. I had no money. I had nothing. I lived week to week. But I can sit here with a smile on my face and say I had peace.
Yeah.
Something I haven't had.
And I think that, I don't know whether, maybe it's time or we wrap it up or whatever,
I think
but
that's a good way to
I
wrap
think
it up.
it's a really good way to end it as well. That in the end, if you're fucking happy, that's all that matters, right?
Exactly.
Amen. Amen.
And it's just like you said, loving yourself, fighting not what you think other people should think is going to make you happy. Be happy in yourself. If you're happy in yourself, then that's the best thing you can do.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, Murph,
Brother,
definitely
good.
thank you so much for sharing your story with us.
we're going to have you back for sure.
100%. We want to continue getting this out there, and I really appreciate you being honest with us today. And we'll continue a little bit of a chat after the mics go down.
No, boys, I appreciate you getting me on, and try to keep it as sort of,
PG.
Yeah, PG as I could. We can do another one's a little bit more fun, but anyway. But look, no, it's a serious thing that we're talking about here, and look, it's a great thing what you boys are setting up and doing. And like I say, everyone has a different journey to go through when they do it, and unfortunately, we'll all go through a journey at some part of our life. And I think having these sort of things and these chats, it sort of helps everybody, in that process. So I appreciate you for having me on,
brother.
Awesome. Thanks, Murph.
Cheers.
Over and out.
It's happy days.
No, it was good.
That was fucking excellent.
That was great, man.
Really good.